Welcome back to Talking Sports with Brandon. This is the Dallas Cowboys Week 14 video, and whoa, coming off last week's video, I think I even said we're gonna have another great video this week, and definitely this isn't a great video. It's a win, but it's not going to be as exciting or as joyous of a video as I was expecting it to be. Obviously the Cowboys play the 1-10-1 Texans coming into this week at home. And you look at the records, you look at the teams, the productivity of the offenses and defenses, and you just assume what you assume. But that was not the case in this game. The Cowboys do win, like I said, but the final score was 27-23, and it came on final drive, 98-yard touchdown to win the game. So it wasn't like they were up 27, 16, and the Texans got a late touchdown to make it a close game. No, they were actually losing this game, losing for a lot of this game, to be honest, and had to come back and win. So, a win is a win is a win, but some wins are just tougher to swallow than other ones, and this was one of those. So, we're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down. Talk about what I liked, didn't like, all that kind of stuff. But there was a point where I thought we lost. I'll say it. And when we go through the possessions and just kind of the summary of the game, I'll say exactly when it was. You could probably guess when it was, but I thought we lost at one point. And it would just been typical us. The one thing I will say, kind of, I'll take away from this game is that in the past, even just last year, we would have lost this game. No doubt about it in my mind, we would have lost this game. So the fact that we did, pull the win out and fight back and at least get a win is impressive, and it does show some growth in this team, to be honest. But even still, it's just not a great win to look back, and it's a win you kind of want to forget about. It's on your record, it's on your schedule, but you just, when you look back at the wins from the season, you kind of just skip over that one, to be honest. But we're gonna go through it, and it started off great. I mean, it started off with an opening touchdown. I think that was only the third time this season that we've had a touchdown on our opening drive. I believe that was the stat that I heard. But it's just a great start. I mean, go right down the field, and this is what we should have done. You're playing a 1-10-1 team at home. You go right down the field, you score a touchdown, you set the tone early, and you don't look back. I thought that was going to be the case, but as we'll see when we go through, that just wasn't the case. But Zeke for 8 yards, Lamb for 13. Lamb didn't really do much this game, but it's not a lot of people did a lot in this game. Pollard for 11 yards. He had a good game, but Zeke for 7. So already on their side of the field. Then Zeke for 25 yards. That was a big run. I haven't really seen a run like that from him in a little while. 1 yard for Zeke, and then we're all the way, or 11-yard line. And Pollard takes just a little inside zone, bumps it out to the right, and just scores a touchdown. Just a great opening drive, like I said. I mean, not even 5 minutes off the clock, not even 4 minutes off the clock, and we're already in the end zone. Exactly what you should do, like I said, against a team like this. And that's what I kind of thought this game would be. Kind of, just do what you do on offense, have the defense fly around, make plays. This game will be over before you know it. And again, their possession for them was a 3 and out. No gain, 2 yards, 1 yard on 3rd and 8. They punted on 4th and 7. But this is where I wouldn't say turns because the game just started, but this is where you see the bad things happening. Again, they punt it to Turpin, and he muffs it, and the Texans recover at our 24-yard line. It hasn't happened so far this season. We have not muffed a punt or a kick return or anything like that. You really don't fumble that much, to be honest. I'll knock on wood, just in case of future stuff, but it's not really a trend we see. There's some teams who just can't stop fumbling. Like, that's just kind of a thing with their team. It's just a disease that's almost stuck within that culture environment of that team. But for us, we haven't really had that yet, and hopefully it doesn't start. But this was, again, maybe it's good to get it out against a team like this. You're playing the Texans. You can come back against them, which was obviously the case because we did come back and win. But still, it wasn't a great sight to see because we're giving them early field position, 24 yards, and they go down and get a touchdown, which, again, our defense is great, but you give them the ball at the 24-yard line, It's a guaranteed 3 points, and 20 an NFL offense should be able to get 24 yards and score. So, 3 yards, 5 yards, third and two they get 8 yards, 3 yard run, 4 yard run. Again, they wanted to run the ball a lot. We knew that they weren't going to sit back and pass. They wanted to run it. We did a pretty good job against the run. Despite them having 114 on the ground, which isn't even that great. They only averaged 3 yards a carry. So, our defense did play a good game. It just got unfortunate, kind of field position against them. But we'll talk about the defense later in this episode. But again, only 114 on the ground, 3.1 yards per carry. That's pretty good. But again, on this drive, now they're third and goal at the 1 yard line. And they get no gain, but we lined up offsides. Parsons, he did nothing this game. He's really done nothing the last 2 weeks. Don't know if he's injured. Don't know what's going on, but he's looked pretty bad, to be honest. It's over the course of the season, whenever I'm watching defense, I literally just look at Parsons to see if he almost wins every single time on a pass rush, and I just see what he does because it's just a special player making special plays. But these last 2 weeks, I've almost found myself not even watching him. I'm just watching the defense as a whole because he's not doing anything. I mean, they have their chips here and there, and they may double him here and there, but he's just not winning. In this game, he was going against a really good tackle in Tunsil, but still, I mean, for a great player like that, you got to be able to win at least a couple of those battles, do something on the defensive side of the ball, and he just didn't do anything. I mean, his name was barely said. I mean, that his name was said for that because he was offsides, but he really didn't do anything. He finished with 5 tackles, 2 solos, and that's it. No hits, no sacks, no anything. So just a really bad game from him again. But that was kind of a side note. But again, it's third and goal. You do get a stop. I mean, they probably go for it at that point? You would think they probably would, but you don't know. You really don't know. But then you give them obviously a free down to go. It's on a first down, but they get another chance to go at it on third down, and they get the touchdown. So a mistake there, no doubt. Penalties weren't that big of an issue for us. I believe we only had 3 penalties. Yeah, we only had 3 penalties for 10 yards. So not really sure that math kind of adds up, but good game penalty-wise. I mean, we've been better the last couple weeks, but that just didn't help. That one right there was obviously a key one. So 7-7. Obviously, you give them that good a field position. They're probably going to score a touchdown. At least get points. They obviously get the touchdown. So you have to expect they were going to score at least 1 touchdown or at least get points in this game. So you knew you had to score more than 7 points anyways. But our next possession we go 3 and out, and it's Pollard for no gain, Pollard for -3, and then Noah Brown for 9 yards. But 4th and 4 at our own 31, we punt. Obviously agree with that call, but Texans then come down to get a field goal. It's Dorsett for 9 yards on a pass. It's a 36-yard pass, which. Did he catch it? I don't think he did. The replays they showed weren't amazing replays, but he definitely didn't catch it. He did, obviously he did catch it, but on the way down to the ground, the ball definitely slipped out a little bit. He used the ground to help put it back in his pocket. We did challenge it. I thought it should have been reversed. They didn't want to reverse it. So big play there. That could have been, obviously they went from their 37-yard line to our 27-yard line. And they're not going to go deep a lot in this game. They're not going to have explosive plays. So the fact that the one time they really did try that and it really wasn't a catch, but they still called it, just hurt. That was over Kelvin Joseph again. Obviously no Anthony Brown. Diggs even got injured in this game, but he did come back and finish it. So it was only like a hand issue. It wasn't anything too serious. So he should be fine. But, we're down to Kelvin Joseph's our starting cornerback on the outside. So, and he let up that play. He let up another play later in this game. So he's got to be better. I'm not a big fan of his really at all. But again, the Texans this week, it was a test for him to get more acclimated to the defense and become a better outside corner. But we really got to see improvement and pretty fast. I mean, they were missing their top 2 wide receivers in this game, and they were still kind of beating us down the field a little bit. So definitely concerning. But after that play, they go 2 yards, 3rd and 5. We stopped them for a TFL from Odigizua, force them to a field goal. They have a good kicker, so 10-7. But then we answer right back. So again, this is where, all right, so we're down 10-7. This is kind of weird. It's still the first quarter, technically, right at the end. But let's get a drive going, let's get points, and then let's go on our merry way. So end of the first quarter, we're second and 12 after a -2 yard loss from Pollard. Then we're third and 12. And this is a huge conversion right here. And it's actually a 51-yard pass down the field. Dak scrambles out of the pocket to the right, throws. It was a penalty on the defense anyways, so it wouldn't have mattered. But obviously you take 51 yards over like 5 yards or 10 yards, whatever it would have been. And again, this is an element of our offense that we kind of need to add into it, which is going deep. And this was obviously an off-schedule throw, so it's not like the play design was to go deep and Dak hit him in the pocket in stride, but we do need to add that element to our offense. And one key to that is James Washington was active for this game. He played a couple snaps. I think he played like a 10 or 11 snaps. Actually got a target, but got destroyed on it. He would have caught it if he got hit normally, but the guy absolutely just killed him basically on the field. I think that was the only target he did get. But that's the element we need, is to go deep, because because as we saw in this game against the Texans, they dropped their linebackers and they forced, because we want to go intermediate. We want to go in the numbers. We can go outside the numbers, yeah. But we want to go in the numbers to tight ends, to Lamb across the middle, to Brown, to Gallup over the middle, and hit guys for 10 to 15-yard passes. That's what we want to do. And if you drop your linebackers, that means you got to fit it over the linebackers, but in between where the safeties or the DBs are playing at. And that's just a really tight window to do. And, for someone like Dak, we've seen it so far this season, but today, in this game, he just really struggled against it. And it's tough to fit windows like that every single time you're dropping back to pass. If you can go deep, if you can establish that you can go deep against a defense, they change their defense. So it's just the Texans had a really good defensive game plan, and we just couldn't really figure it out until the last drive, to be honest. But it's just, I just think that when James Washington, it's not like he's going to be getting a million catches for a million yards, but I think having him out there at least shows a threat to the defense that we have a chance of going deep right here. And if you want to leave him single coverage, you can. He can burn by you. So I'm excited to see what he's going to look like as he gets more acclimated and he gets more snaps. He's not going to play a full snap count, but just get more snaps and be more of a threat on the outside for us potentially. But like I said, we get the 51-yard play to Brown. So we went from our 23 to their 26. Lamb for 3 yards. Pollard for 18 yards. False start. And then Pollard for no yards. And then just a little swing route, similar to Minnesota, just on the other side of the field. And Pollard, some guy comes flying at him. And he tiptoes the sideline, gets him for the touchdown. So Pollard's got 2. Back up 14-7. Feeling way better about ourselves now. Just a lot better about where this game is going. And it helps that on the next possession, the Texans kind of drive it a little bit. They do get to our side of the field, but on a 4th and 3, they go for it, and they go up the middle, and they only get 2 yards. So we have a big stop, big turnover on downs right there. I think this was the point in the game where it's like, all right, they tried to go for it, keep the offense on the field, don't give the ball back to us, because they know that they need points to win this game. And they turn it over on downs, basically at midfield. This is the point where we really need to score points, even if it's just a field goal. Makes it a 1-touchdown game. You still have confidence, still have momentum over them. You're forcing them to play from behind by a touchdown, despite it being the second quarter. They still have to play from behind. And instead, we do nothing. We go no gain, incomplete pass, and then Pollard for 6 yards. So we're 4th and 4 at the 46-yard line. Could you potentially went for that? You maybe could have. It's a little egregious at that point in the game, potentially, but you do believe you are the better team. I mean, you are the better team. You're basically in midfield. Yeah, you're giving them, good field position, but I think you would have confidence in your defense to hold them to a field goal at that point. And again, if you get that on offense, you're looking to probably get a touchdown at that point, because then you really do have all the momentum. So that potentially could have been a call for a play. 4th and 4 is not that long. If it was 4th and 5, I'd be feeling a little bit differently. But 4th and 4 is, it's pretty far to get, but that's manageable, no doubt. But we do punt it. Then we force a 3-and-out by them. So again, it works. You do get good field position. You get the ball at your 36-yard line. But on that next possession, Dak gets picked off. This is where they drop the linebackers. We try to go a slant to Noah Brown. The backer is not really playing him. He's kind of just in a zone, just in the middle of the field, but he reads Dak's eyes, gets a hand on it, hits Brown in the hands, and then it gets picked off, and they return it for 26 yards. So huge change in momentum right there. Now they get an interception, even get a good return off it. They're almost in our red zone already, and they cash that into a touchdown. 2-play drive. They go 4 yards on the ground, and then they get a 28-yard touchdown pass to Amari Rogers, again over Kelvin Joseph. This is Jeff Driscoll. They were kind of going between Driscoll and Davis Mills, but this was Driscoll in this one. Kind of rolls out to the right. He has pressure all around him, and as he throws it, there's guys all around him, but kind of just throws a little floater up there, and Rodgers just makes a play over Joseph. So, or maybe it was Wilson, but I think Joseph was there. But still, I mean, that can't happen against Jeff Driscoll. Amari Rogers are doing this. It just, come on. It's just unacceptable, to be honest. Go down 17-14 with 2 minutes, 23 seconds left in the half. We do muster up a field goal drive, which I thought would have ended the half, but it actually didn't. So we go 7 yards to Lamb, now 2-minute warning. Schultz for 8 yards, 7 yards to Brown, 16 yards to Gallup. Incompletion, 22 yards to Schultz on a third down. That was a big conversion because we're at their 37-yard line. Yeah, it's a field goal. It's a 54-yard field goal, but still, you'd like to get more yards or thinking touchdown still at that point. There's still a minute left on the clock. Incomplete to Schultz. Incomplete, and then that first incompletion to Schultz right there, 1st and 10, 57 seconds left from their 15-yard line. He should have caught that. Dak hits him right in the numbers, and it was in him. It wasn't like he dropped it, yeah, but he was almost scared because the safety was coming from behind to hit him. It was almost like he was scared to get hit by that safety, and he just dropped the ball. And it was a touchdown. It wasn't like it was a 5-yard gain or something. It was in the end zone. It would have been a touchdown. If anything, you're at the 1-yard line, but it would have been a touchdown. But he dropped it. And the next play, it's an incompletion to Pollard, but Terrence Steele gets injured. Confirmed after the game, he tore his ACL on that play. So who knows? Would have his ACL have given out anyways? Later on after half or whenever it would have been, maybe. But the fact that he did drop that touchdown, and then the next play, Terrence Steele tears his ACL, which is a big loss. He's a right tackle, which isn't as important as left tackle, but we needed him. He's been playing really good so far this season. Tyron's still coming back. It looks like he'll probably play a series or two against the Jaguars. But again, does he slide over to right tackle? Does we have Josh Ball as the backup? Does Jason Peters play into effect in that? I'll talk about him a little bit later in this game. But not only was he a great player for us so far this season, but now we're kind of looking at who really replaces him at right tackle. Despite being talented on that offensive line, and guys who could fill in at right tackle are talented, it just kind of you lose your depth a little bit. You lose again another, like I said, a great player on that right tackle side. So that was just very costly. One, that we didn't get the touchdown, and then two, the next play we lose Terrence Steele. Then 3rd and 10, we're incompletion. We had to kick a 33-yard field goal with 40 seconds left. 40 seconds left against the Texans. This defense should not. They get a field goal with 40 seconds left, and this is embarrassing for this defense. I don't care if they have all 3 timeouts. They're going to go 18 yards, 4 yards, 7 yards. They're all the way on our side of the field. It's a defensive offsides and a pass interference on the same play against us. Only the offsides was called. I'm not really sure why, but then it's Davis Mills for 9 yards to Philip Dorsett, and then they kick a field goal, a 50-yard field goal, and make it. That's embarrassing for our defense to let the Texans go down the field and get a field goal with 40 seconds left in the half. What are we doing? I mean, we do tie the game. Our offense hasn't looked great, but at least it's a tie game, what you would assume is going to half, and instead we're down 3 points now. Inexcusable, but I'll give credit to the defense in that they only gave up 3 points in the second half, and they started the second half out with a fumble and a fumble recovery. So it's 3rd and 6. They go 8 yards, and then 1st and 10. I believe it was Donovan Wilson who hit Dameon Pierce, their running back, forces the ball out. Diggs picks it up. He runs all the way around the field, backwards like 20 yards. If he didn't run out of gas, he probably could have got an extra 10 yards, but he did. He ran for 17 positive yards, but he probably ran like 60-plus yards in total. And that includes going all the way backwards and all the way back forwards. But we can't turn this into points. It's unbelievable. But 5 yards to Zeke, 5 yards to Zeke again, 6 yards for Zeke, 3 for Pollard, none for Pollard, 3rd and 1. Then Pollard for 1 yard, so that big conversion right there to get the first down. 1st and goal from their 8-yard line. Zeke for 1, Zeke for 4, Zeke for 2 yards at 3rd and goal at the 3-yard line. 4th and goal at their 1-yard line. Obviously, you go for this. We don't get it. They're at the 1-yard line. No point kicking a field goal to make it a tie game. What does that matter at this point when you're at the 1-yard line? And I just don't love the play call. I like going for it. I don't like the play call, though. It's jumbo set. It's just Zeke up the middle. I mean, guys are coming in unblocked. I mean, the offensive line got beat on that play anyways, but there's guys coming off the edge absolutely unblocked. Zeke goes for -1 yard. I think there's got to be a better call than that. If you want to run up the middle, fine, but at least spread it out. Get less guys in that box. Don't let them go jumbo in that for that substitution. You could do a different play call as well. You could do something. There's got to be a better play call than just Zeke straight up the middle. There has to be. So I like going for it. I like the aggressiveness, but the play call, not a big fan of at all. And that was big because you get a touchdown there. It's 24-20. And again, you get the momentum back on your side. After a turnover, go down the field, drive, and get a touchdown. It's just so much momentum flips back to your side. And again, after that, they actually go get a field goal. They go down the field 63 yards and kick a field goal to make it 23-17. Just, again, it's like, what is going on? It's like, is this the Texans? What team are we playing right now? That they can go from their 1-yard line or I guess 2-yard line, which is a -1 yard gain, and go down and get a field goal. I mean, it's 4 yards, it's 10 yards, it's 24 yards. It's 4 yards again, 14 yards. I mean, look at these plays that we're giving up to this team. 5 yards and then 6 yards to make it 4th and 3. They kick a 54-yard field goal. Like I said, they have a good kicker. I think all 3 of his field goals were 50+, but this was the only 3 points that we gave up. But it's just, how do you let them... I said I'd give credit to the defense for only giving up 3, but how do you let them go from the 2-yard line to get a field goal? That's really the problem in it. So they do make it 23-17, like I said. We do answer back with a field goal of our own. So it's Pollard for 6, incomplete to Lamb. Dak scrambles for 3 yards, but it's 4th and 1. He slides before the first down. You just got to dive, or you got to know where you're at. It's a mistake, but you got to know where you're at. 4th and 1 at their own 34-yard line. We go QB sneak, so we do get it at least, but could have been bad because if we don't get that, and it would have been Dak sliding early, that would have been huge problems right there. Gallup for 24, Schultz for 5, end of the 3rd quarter here. So now we're in the 4th quarter, down 23-17. Pollard goes for -2 yards and then incomplete pass on 3rd down, and we're 4th and 7. So you got to kick a field goal. Huge make right there. I think that's an underrated make, 53 yards away. Make it back to 23-20, and just give us a chance. At least, if we do keep him at 23, which we did, but at this point we don't know that. At least it's a field goal to tie the game and send it to OT, or just keep it a tie game, whatever it is. So that's a huge make right there. Next couple of possessions are pretty bland. It's just a 3-and-out by the Texans, 3-and-out by us. Again, can't have that. And then not a 3-and-out for them. They do punt, and they get it. They pin us down at the 1-yard line. And this is where I thought we lost the game. I said it as soon as it happened. I said we lost. It's Dak for 2 yards, get us some space. Then Lamb for 7 yards. So we're 3rd and 1 at the 10-yard line. Pollard goes for 3 yards. So huge first down conversion right there. And then Dak gets sacked and he fumbles. And somehow we recover it. I don't even know how we recovered it. But we lose 10 yards. So we're all the way back at our 3-yard line. And again, this is where the Terrence Steele injury comes into play, because Josh Ball is out there at right tackle. Guy beats him, hits Dak's arm. Don't really know what Dak was doing with the ball anyways. He was kind of throwing into double coverage, or at least it would have been a very close catch if he was throwing to Schultz, if Schultz would have caught it. But his arm does get hit, obviously slows down the ball, flutters it a little bit, and they pick it off at the 10-yard line and run it back to the 4-yard line. I said we lost. As soon as he got picked off, I said we lost. I don't know how we didn't lose, to be honest, from this point. It's 5 minutes and 40 seconds left in the game. They have the ball at the 4-yard line, up 3 points. I mean, the way our offense looked, the way everything had been going, no way I thought we were going to win this game. They go -1 the first carry. Second, they go for 4 yards, get all the way down to the 1-yard line, ridiculous effort from the defense, not in a good way, in a bad way. Because it's rather a pass at the line of scrimmage or a yard behind the line of scrimmage, and we missed at least 2 tackles, and it should have been a negative gain, or negative yardage, or no gain. Instead, he gets 4 yards. I thought he was going to score a touchdown as soon as he broke those first 2 tackles, because it's just like, what are we doing? But we do stop him at the 1. Then they try and go 3rd and goal at the 1 yard line. They try and go up the middle. D-Law makes a great play. Again, he's so good in the run. Just nice between the offensive linemen. Gets him for a TFL for 2 yards. So big minus 2 yards right there. So 3:25 left. Obviously, they're going to go for it. What does a field goal do? It's, obviously, yeah, if the Cowboys, that means the Cowboys have to get a touchdown to win the game. But, you got to put all your chips in at that point. You're at the 3 yard line. You have this golden opportunity. You're 1-10-1 team. What does it matter if you really win this game? You probably want to lose anyways. So you go for it. Their play was just messed up from the snap. I don't, Driscoll's in there. He's more of a runner guy. It's, they start out left and then he just whips back around to the right. I'm not sure if, the running back, it was supposed to go to the running back. It was supposed to be a play action. I don't know what it was supposed to be, but it was obviously just wrong from the start. He tries to run it in. Great tackles from Gallimore and Anthony Barr. He was running into a crowd of us, but the way that we were playing, I don't know what would have happened. He probably would have scored, but we do make the stop, get him down at the 2 yard line. Huge stop, obviously, because it keeps it a 3-point game, gives your offense a chance, and that's exactly what they did for the offense. They gave him a chance, and we capitalized on that chance. So 3:20 left in the game. Dak, first play, 21 yards to Schultz. This one, he throws it right over the linebacker, little floater to get it over him. Linebacker still almost tips it. Who knows what could have happened, but that's what they were doing. It was playing the linebackers there. You have to get it in over the linebacker to get it into those seams. So great play there. So 21 yards there. Dak scrambles for 9 yards. Again, I think he should move a little bit more with his legs. He's not the same guy he was 2016, 2017, but he can use his legs. I don't know why we don't do it. If it's a design run, whether it's scrambling, there's a lot of times where he probably could scramble and he just throws it anyways, despite having at least 5 yards in front of him. But he does get 9 there. Schultz for 13. He was big on Schultz in this drive. Zeke for 6. 2-minute warning now. So we're at midfield. Lamb for 3 yards. Again, another Dak scramble for 6 yards. 3rd and 1. Dak up the middle for 6 yards. Again, using his legs, using his big body. He's a big guy. So 1st and 10. Minute 18 left. Noah Brown for 18 yards. This was Dak's best throw of the game. In a game where he didn't have a lot of great throws. Really none, to be honest. This was his best throw. Fitting it into his seam. Noah Brown has to dive to make the catch, but that was the point of the throw because he had to get it away from the defender, had to give his guy a chance. Even had a little bit of pressure in his face. Just an amazing throw in a clutch situation right there. So that goes for 18 yards. Zeke for 2 yards. We're at their 4 yard line. It was actually good that Zeke didn't score there because Houston still had a timeout. There were still 50 seconds left in the game. So the fact that he didn't score made them waste a timeout. Also takes a little bit more time off the clock. Next play, we go to Gallup. He catches it in the end zone, but it gets rocked and drops it. Still looked like a touchdown. They ruled that he didn't have a second foot down, which I still haven't seen the replay from it since when I first watched it, so I don't really remember exactly. But I just thought that they were going to say that he didn't have control or possession of the ball all the way through the catch, but they said he didn't have a second foot down. I wasn't looking for that because I didn't realize that that's what they were going to call, but I just assumed he's in the end zone. It wasn't like he was on the sideline or anything or jumped. I guess he jumped for it, I guess, but it just, I didn't think that's what they were going to call, but whatever the case was, it wasn't a touchdown. So 3rd and goal at the 2 yard line, 40 seconds left, and Zeke rushes in for a 2 yard touchdown. So get the touchdown, get the lead. Again, it was good because that wasted. If Zeke would have scored with 55 seconds left, that's a 15-second difference. Who knows? Who knows what happens? They technically still would have had their timeout. So they would have had timeout, 50 seconds left to potentially get a touchdown. I still like our chances in that, but who knows? But instead, it's 40 seconds, no timeouts left. So I do get it. Had to make the extra point, obviously, because it would have been, it would have been a field goal game if he missed. But we do get the extra point. Huge drive. Again, 11 plays, 98 yards, 2 minutes, 40 seconds off the clock. Just great clutch throws from Dak using his legs. He accounted for, out of the 98 yards, he accounted for like at least 90 of them because of his throws and obviously him running the ball. So in a game where he was not good, very unimpressive, he came through in the clutch and he came up big. And obviously, we did win because on their final drive, the Texans, they moved the ball. They actually moved the ball up to midfield, but they had to throw a Hail Mary with like 14 seconds left, and it gets picked off. I was almost worried because our team loves to go for interceptions. I was almost worried they were going to go for the interception and the ball was going to be batted up in the air. They were going to catch it for a touchdown, but and it almost did happen because Diggs and Mukwamaku actually went for the ball together, and they somehow didn't bat up in the air or deflect off one of them, but it was an interception. Game over. We did win. Luckily, somehow, I'm not even really sure how, but we won 27-23. So Dak, he was 24-39. Again, he was not accurate. He was missing a lot of throws. 284, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. On the ground, Zeke was 15 for 62 and a touchdown. Pollard's only 10 for 42. Didn't really get that many carries and a touchdown. Schultz was the big one in this game. Again, the final drive, he had like at least, 50 yards. I think he was like 3 for 58 on the final drive. 6 catches, 87 yards. Again, Lamb, like I said, only 5 for 33. Really just didn't do much in this game. Defensively, no sacks. I think it was our first game this season with no sacks, and didn't really come close, to be honest. It wasn't like we were missing him. In terms of QB hits, we had 1, and it was from Dorrance Armstrong. But other than that, we just didn't do anything defensively. I mean, the interception, I don't even really count. It's a Hail Mary at the end of the game. But not an impressive game. It just really wasn't. But we do pull out the win. Hey, look, you get ugly wins on the way to the journey, to the final destination, but it's just not enjoyable to watch when it's happening in the moment. But we do move to 10-3. Big win because if we lose that game, one, it's an embarrassing loss. But if you do want to have a chance in this division, you had to win because the Eagles won their game. They were blowing out the Giants. So we're 10-3. Philadelphia's 12-1. We play the Jaguars next week. Philadelphia, they play. Who do they play? They play the Bears. That should be a win. It kind of sucks that their schedule is just like so easy, but Eagles will probably win. I mean, the Jaguars are serious. They just went to Tennessee and destroyed the Titans. They have an offense. They can make plays. We're going to Jacksonville. It's always tough playing in Jacksonville, so it's going to be a test. I think we probably took the Texans lightly, thinking we're the home team. The Texans are 1-10-1. They're not a threat at all. Maybe that's a good thing that this game did come down to the wire and we did win, was that it really forces you got to play. It's the NFL. You got to play every team. It's any given Sunday, like everyone says. And I think we're going to take the Jaguars more seriously, even if they, even with their win against the Titans, I think we'll take them even more serious now that we just played the Texans and almost lost. So I'm excited for this game. I think it's going to be a good matchup. I think Lawrence can definitely make plays against us, but we need to see Micah make plays. We need to see the defensive line get after the quarterback. We got to see stuff happening. So I'm excited for it. And then the Philadelphia matchup. So can't look forward to that yet, but even if we lose that Philly matchup, it's not the worst thing in the world. If we're the 5 seed, that's the best seed to be because you play the winner of the NFC South, and that's the worst division in football by far. So it's not the worst thing if we are the 5 seed. It's going to be tough anyways. Philadelphia's schedule is easy. Like I said, they play the Bears, they play us, they play the Saints, and then they play the Giants. So they'll probably win out. Even if they lose against us, they'll win the rest of the games, which means we'll still be 1 game behind anyways. But we'll see what happens. But again, it's not the worst thing to be the 5 seed. It's really not the worst thing. But we got to beat the Jaguars first. Go to 11-3, and at least set up a potential division, not clinching, but division winning game for that Philadelphia game. Or if we do beat them and they somehow do lose one of these other games, who knows what happens. But that's it for this episode. I thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. I'm not going to say it's going to be an enjoyable video. I'm not going to go there at this point. I'm not going to say anything like that. I'll just see you in the next video. and we'll go from there. And definitely, check out the other videos on this channel as well. If you just watch Cowboys videos, keep watching them, or you can check out the preview and recap videos I do for the entire NFL, where I go over I make picks, go over each game, injury news, everything like that. So definitely check that out as well. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.